Welcome back to News 3 today at 11. 8 lives, 8 journeys, 1 Savannah. From then until now, Short Memories of 8 Male African American Savannahans is a collection of personal stories from each of those individuals. 2 of the co-authors join us now with more. Richard Shinholster and Lawrence Hutchins. Thank you so much for being here today. So I was reading, this book came about in an interesting way during the pandemic. Tell us this backstory.
Well, it really came after the pandemic
Okay.
because during the pandemic we were kind of secluded in our houses and couldn't go many places. So after the pandemic, Samuel Truell, who grew up with us, his idea was to bring us back together by way of, first of all, we thought about a phone conference, but then he came up with the idea of doing a Zoom.
Yeah.
And since then, it happened about 3 or 4 years ago. We had Wednesday night conversation. We were talking about all the things that happened. We were growing up in Savannah since the 1940s and 50s. So someone came up with the idea, we need to record this stuff in a book form. And so that's how the book idea came about.
Now, Samuel Truell wrote the foreword to the book, and he mentioned in it, we came from little but achieved big things because we had unity in the community.
And that was a key.
Yeah.
We thought that most of us started out, as Sam said, from very humble beginnings, but we had family. And we think that family throughout our lives has mattered. This has made us be who we are. And this is what we think during the time we grew up was important in the African American community, was family.
Yeah, so there are 8 of you, right?
There's 8 of us.
You have a name,
Yes.
men of a certain age,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All of us grew up, 5 of us grew up on the east side, the other 3 on the west side, but we all achieved from, as he said, humble beginnings, and we all had maybe similar experiences growing up in the 40s and the 50s into
Yeah.
the 60s.
Yeah, so you came of age during segregation. That's something that you all have in common, but you all have individual stories. I know Teddy is chapter 1, didn't know his real name is Thomas. You are chapter 4, Mr. Hutchins, correct? And Mr. Shinholster, also known as Willie, first name, that's something else I found out. You are chapter 7. Tell me about your chapters.
Well, in my chapter, it starts out by saying that I'm the oldest son of the oldest son of the oldest son of an ex-enslaved person.
Wow.
And I took, in thinking about writing the book and thinking of how to start it, that stuck in my head that we are the descendants of ancestors. And those ancestors imparted to us the will to survive and the will to thrive. And throughout my chapter, I think I related to that, to the family, to our spiritual experiences, to our civil rights experiences. I had 2 brothers who were very, very active in the state and national level in civil rights. And all of this sort of came together as a result of knowing who our ancestors were.
Yeah, and Mr. Hutchins, you're known as a musician, educator. You even have a street that bears your name right now. Tell us about your chapter.
But my chapter also started out talking about families. And of course, my family came from South Carolina, where many families come from, Bluffton and Pritchardville area. And I talked about them in the book. I told them how my daddy and my father and mother rather, became acquainted with each other. Both of them grew up in Savannah. I talked about my grandmother. I talked about my grand aunt, who got a degree from Spelman in 1905. She was my aunt that lived in Savannah. And then I talk about some of my experience. Some of them are history related, because in one of my chapters in the book, I talk about the integration of minor league baseball in Savannah. And of course, it was played right across the street at Grayson Stadium. My father took me to that game when I was 11 years old. And I remember very vividly, they had 3 black players from Jacksonville. They had 3 black players from Savannah, 2 black players from Savannah. One of the players from Savannah was Fleming Jr. Reedy. He was from Savannah. But the players on Jacksonville team might be interesting. One of them turned out to be Henry Aaron.
Wow.
he started his minor league career, well, second year over at Grayson
Yes.
Stadium. And of course, you know the history on him, how he turned out to be the Major League home run king at one
Yeah.
point in time. But there were other mentioned in my chapter. I told them how I got influenced with the band music. I took music lessons from my brother, who was a piano teacher. But when we got to start playing the band instruments, that was a different avenue. And so we dropped the piano and we started playing band instruments. And of course, as a result, many of us started in music with that elementary band program, which was the first for blacks in 1953-54.
You know what? The bad thing about having legends like you on here is that we run out of time so quickly. Oh my goodness. But we want to tell you where you can buy the book, From Then Till Now, Short Memoirs of 8 African American Savannahans. It's available in bookstores everywhere or online in the Apple iTunes Store, Amazon, Google Play, or Barnes & Noble, and other outlets on your screen. There's also a book signing coming up on October 9th at 6 p.m. at the Senior Citizens Inc. Learning Center. You can find this interview and any of the other information that we just spoke about on our website at wsav.com/community corner. Thank you so much for joining us today. I cannot wait to read the book.
Please.
Thank you.
And you can find it at Diaspora Marketplace here in Savannah.
Okay, plug for his store. Right now it's time for a look at our forecast. Good morning, Alyssa.